Yo, everybody, we're here today with my favorite type of video, and that is item builds. Item builds are like, well, I don't like harping on them too much because then I feel like people think that item builds are the only thing you need to change to gain MMR. Like, I have people tell me that all the time, like, I think my item build was wrong, so I lost. Like, nah, it's probably something else. But still, if you're trying to have fun in Dota, like I am in an unranked and really just enjoying these pubs, or even you want to try things that might be meta for your ranked matches and win MMR, this video is going to give you 10 different builds that you should be trying in patch 7.25 because I think they're strong. Other pros have used them. They've been suggested to me. I've kind of compiled a list here that I think is going to really blow your mind. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like and subscribe to help our channel grow and to let me know if you want to see more of these videos. Alright, so I know you guys have a lot of extra time and toilet paper on your hands right now, just like I do. The reason why I'm saying this is the gameleap website is 50% off in the link down below. It's legitimately 50% off. The code is BingeDota. I'm making a lot of cool content over on the main website, so please click the link. It supports me and obviously gameleap as a whole. So yeah, click the link, 50% off for a very limited time, and hopefully I'll see you there. Alright, so let's hop right into it with the first build, and this is one that I'm not sold on yet, and I don't think I will be for a while. However, there are games that I've watched it in, and it looked really, really good when they hit a specific timing, and that is the Jugs Ags build. Now, I think specifically if you're gonna buy this Ags, it has to be a 4th or 5th item. I don't think you want to be buying this 2nd. I don't think you want to buy a 3rd. It makes you very vulnerable. You don't farm that fast. Even when you use the quick strike, or whatever the name is, the 0.8 seconds Omni Slash, you don't do that much damage because you have an Ags. So I really think you want to go a build as the following. So first off, you're going to be buying Treads, then a Wand, then Battle Fury, then Manta, then Diffusal, then Axe. Now there's variations of this build and there's plenty of things you could do. You can be going Mjolnir still. I still think that item is pretty fine on Jug, if not one of the better ones. You can be going Manta and Diffusal straight up. You can go, like I said, the Battle Fury and then a Mask of Madness build. Or you can even go the Mask of Madness Crystallis build that Mentema was going. Sure, it got nerfed, but it's still okay. All I'm saying is, you want to have some assortment of 2 to 3 DPS items / defensive items that make you relatively tanky, then you buy an Ags. And then I think after you get the Ags, you look into something like a Rapier, because with these combinations of items, you shred. Like, I really like the idea of getting this Ags. They're very hard to kill. You can kind of pick a support and in 0.8 seconds you burst them. That's super value. It's only a 15-second cooldown as well, so pretty strong in that regard. Next up, let's move on to Lycan, one of my favorite heroes of patch, and I just want to give the general item build you should be going if you plan on experimenting with this hero, which I definitely recommend you do. And I really like Helm of the Dominator right now. I've been seeing a couple of Lycans go Necro 1 Rush, which I understand the item has gotten buffed. The Sage's masks are incredible for the laning stage, cheaper than ever, more mana regen than ever, so I really get that build up. Even if you wanted to buy the 2 Sage's masks and then the Helm of the Dominator, I think it's okay. All in all though, I recommend you buy both of these items. I think the 20% damage you get from the Helm of the Dominator in combination with your Necro Book is a very strong combo. It makes you have this insane early game timing where not only do you buff up your team, you can get like the attack speed creep or the Alpha Wolf, you get more auras because of that. You have like 50% buff in total. All of a sudden, your team is just shredding, you can push, you can keep tempo, your hero's buffed. So yeah, this is the general build. Helm, Necro 3, AC, and then there's other items from there. You can buy a Deso if you're ratting, you can buy a BKB if they have proper control, you can buy an Abyssal Blade if you lack control, and yeah, I mean, that's the general path you would go, and I definitely recommend Lycan. Next up, we have Mars, and I really like the new Ags if you build up to it properly. I don't think if you're buying Ags, you should be going Blink. If you're playing this hero as a farming core, which I recommend you do, you try to stay in side lanes for the most part, push in a lot of waves, don't gank too much, really focus on your timings. And what I recommend you go is Vlad's into Deso, into Ags. Now, of course, there's other items here and there. You generally want to be buying things like Phase Boots, a Wand. Maybe you could argue Soul Ring with the new Bassi. I think you can probably get away with Bassi and Raindrops or Bassi and Clarities, and you'll be fine in terms of mana overall, especially if you have a Wand on top of that. So in general, what I recommend you do is you buy a Vlad's, then a Deso, then an Ags. It's gonna make you quite tanky, strong, sustainable, you farm fast, you scale up well, it's great build up, and overall, I think this is a nice, well-rounded build on Mars. The only thing I would say is if they have a lot of magical damage, skip the Ags for a bit, buy that BKB, then go back for the Ags. Next up, we have Nature's Prophet, my favorite hero in Dota, and personally, I've been experimenting, alright? I played one game recently that made me question a lot of things. What I will say is I love Blade Mail. Now, if this was like a year ago and I was still hiding strats and trying to keep things to myself for pubs, I wouldn't even tell you about this, but I actually straight up think blade mail is close to becoming a broken item. It currently only costs 2,000 gold. Now the buildup isn't great because all those items, the mental of intelligence, the chainmail, and the broadsword, they don't feel that great to buy. Like especially during the laning stage, you'd much rather have wand, bracers, headdress, bassy, buckler, these type of items. However, when you get to the blade mail, not only do you get 28 damage, but you also get 10 int, as well as 6 armor. And because of this, you have 38 more damage on profit, which is crazy. It's a lot of damage. Like think about it, 38 damage it's almost the same amount as this Crystallis item, right? For int heroes. It's actually more. Crystallis is 34 damage. On int heroes, blade mail gives you 38. Think about that. Now sure you can't crit, but you get the blade mail active, and blade mail overall is like 100, 200 more gold less. It's just great. And think about it, for a hero like Prophet, you can buy a wand, bracer, treads. Obviously you want the attack speed if you're going to be buying blade mail because it gives you a lot of damage. And on top of that, your ultimate gives you damage, so you want to be buying attack speed. So what I recommend you do is you buy the treads, you buy a wand, you buy even another gloves of haste, then you go into the blade mail. You're pretty tanky, you get a neutral item that gives you even more stats. All of a sudden, you're like a 1200 HP hero. If you go on strength heads, it's more like 1400. You hit for like 150, 180, and you pop a blade mail. It's really hard for a lot of heroes that struggle against blade mail, such as Skywrath, or even Storm, Luna. All these heroes, they really hate it. It's something I'm going to test more, and I'm going to recommend actually more throughout this video. Next up is Pugna. And I'm going to keep this simple. In the laning stage, there's a couple of different starting item builds you can go. You can be buying the headdress, you can start with the bassy, the buckler, depends on the lane. However, one option that I like, that I think is something to consider, is you can buy a Sage's Mask, 3 mangoes, 3 tangos, and a branch. It's pretty nice overall, gives you good sustain, good mana regen, overall decent stats, and then you buy an Aether Lens. Whatever you do, buy Aether Lens on Pugna. Just makes the hero much more playable. Otherwise, you get caught out of position and bursted. So just get an Aether Lens. Next up is Coop, and what I recommend for Coop is you actually consider this blade mail item as well. Now, I'm super serious about this. This is not me saying this as a meme. I actually believe in this. This is not some, I was about to say Veno Jungle, but no, that's legit. I'm serious though. Like, I'm really, really serious. 38 damage on Coop with treads, giving you good attack speed with the already decent agi of Coop, makes you a very potent right clicker. And think about it. If you blink in, ulti, and scream, as well as max dagger someone as Coop, and then you pop a blade mail, who can fight back in the early game? Even if you don't have ulti, right? Even if you don't have ulti. I just feel like this works. The old Coop, when blade mail was a broken item, was buying this item as well. Like, people were buying blade mail, and it's better than ever. It's 2,000 gold with great stats that have been buffed. I'm just putting it out there. Next up is Spectre, and I'm not going to go too in-depth on Spectre because I am not a Spectre spammer, and I have not watched this hero in depth. However, I will say is, no matter what you do, if you pick Spectre, buy a headdress with it in lane. You have a lot of regen, you kind of chill. After that though, you have a couple of routes you can go. You can buy Soul Ring, Wand, Shreds, be a little bit tanky in the early game, as well as, hit quite a bit of neutral items and be able to show up to early fights, especially if you get something like the Ironwood Tree. All of a sudden, you're like a 1500 HP hero. I'm serious. You get that tanky. And I know you're probably expecting me to say buy Blade Mail. And while I don't think it's actually that bad on Spectre, I'm actually more of a fan of going the Manta Diffusal route right now. So if you're going to play Spectre, I recommend you generally go those items or consider Necro 1. I know it's insane, but ever since they buffed the Sage's Mask, I think this is a decent farming item as a Spectre. I'm serious. Like, some pro did this at the Major. I forget which one. I think it was Eternal Envy, actually. He lost. However, I think it's pretty legit in pubs. Just use the Necro 1 to flash farm. Gives you a lot of mana regen, makes you tankier, and it makes you be able to farm dangerous areas. Very potent. Next up is Bounty Hunter, and they did recently nerf the Ags, so I'm a little bit less inclined to say that this is good now. Still think it's pretty strong. Overall, if you're gonna go this build, I recommend you buy small items building up to it. Please do not go Phase Boots Ags. Please, please, please. You are limiting your hero's ability to control the mid game / early game. Like, minute 10 to 20, Bounty Hunter thrives in it. He thrives. So please don't neuter your ability to play the match because you decided you wanted an early axe. Buy Phase Boots, buy a wand, buy an urn. Don't be afraid to buy bracers. You can even finish the vessel if it's a good enough game. You should be buying raindrops, even a mech, like these type of items. Please consider them. Then, after a few of these small items, you can go back for the axe. Especially considering you want to be lining up the axe with the later talents. It makes a lot of sense. Just keep this in mind. Don't stop griefing pubs with this Phase Boots axe build that I've seen a couple times now. It's like, following up here, we have Spirit Breaker, and I feel like I don't understand this yet. I don't know if it's actually good, but apparently Zai has been going bots into axe. And you go really fast, you stun people a lot with charge, and apparently it's legit. So like, hopefully you'll see some footage on screen here of it, and you can assume for yourself whether or not it's good. I'm not gonna give any opinion. I've yet to play it. I've even yet to watch it. I've just heard it's good. So this is a suggestion I got from some people in the gameleap Discord, actually. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about this hero and this build. Apparently it's okay. I'm just afraid of the build up. Having to spend that much gold on bots and then that much gold on axe with pretty awful build up and no small items in between. Even if you do buy them in between, that's really expensive for a hero that can't flash farm. Just a bit concerning for me. And finally, last but not least, y'all are gonna hate me for this build, but I said it on Twitter, I mean it. Gyrocopter blade mail. I'm serious, man. 28 damage, like, I don't know what item you buy that you want to use a flak in the early game. Like, cause you want some damage item in the early game with flak, right? You want some item that allows all the flak shots to do extra damage. Blade mail gives you 28, as well as int to farm. And then the ability to reflect on Gyro helps you with a lot of his bad matchups, like heroes that jump him, such as Coop. Like a hero like Coop really destroys Gyro in the early game. All of a sudden, she's not as bad. Same thing with like a hero like Lina. You getting Yule's comboed is not an option if you have this item. I just think it's good for that reason. And I know this is gonna sound crazy. I mean it though. I kind of mean it. You pick Gyro, you buy a Wraith Band, you buy a Wand, you buy maybe a Bassi if you feel like you want to be like farming hardcore, which I definitely think is a great option on this current Gyro with the new flak cannon. So yeah, you have this Wraith Band, Wand, Bassi, then you buy a Blade Mount. I mean it. I think it's good, guys. I think it's good. Even if you're like, I can't fight this game, I don't think this item scales poorly at all. It's good for farming. It gives you a lot of damage. 28, it's a high number, and int. It's good for farming. I just feel like this item is being undervalued right now. So I guess this is kind of my video ranting about it to some extent. But like, it's just something I want people to consider because I usually don't say this about items, but I really do mean it about Blade Mail right now. I think it's, the only problem with it is you can argue like, do you want a Blade Mail or do you want a Vlads to help your team? Or like a Helm of the Dominator to help your team? Or like 2/3 of a pipe to help your team? Which I think is the most fair argument against it. But like Gyro's not going to buy those other items, so I think this is pretty legit. And then after the Blade Mail, you can buy a BKB if they do a lot of magical damage, just because still it can be a bit dangerous to, you know, not have a BKB on Gyro. You're also going to do plenty of damage, even with Blade Mail BKB. You have like plus 50 damage, it's fine. Like you do plenty of damage. Even with these two quote-unquote defensive items, you still deal damage. And then after that, you can buy a Diffusal, which I personally like a lot on Gyro. It's great agility, gives you the slow to track people down. So yeah, consider this hero. This is something I'm going to be experimenting with. I've actually played 2 Gyro games with Blade Mail. I won them both. One of them I absolutely stomped, and one of them I was actually positioned for because my lane got stolen. Yeah, but thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you have item builds you would like to let the community know about, or even want to tell me about, you can obviously let me know in my Discord DMs, or you should comment it down below and let everyone know you have to think, because this is the time for experimentation. I want to figure things out. It's the funnest part of Dota, and hopefully you guys think that as well. But if you enjoyed, like and subscribe, help our channel grow. You know the spiel and the deal. And peace. So I know you guys have a ton more time and toilet paper to play Dota right now, just like I do. And the reason why I'm asking you this, or even saying it, is because the gameleap website is 50% off for a limited time. Very short period of time. Click the first link in the description down below for 50% off. It's for a limited time right now. The code is BingeDota. Type it in. You'll get your discount. It's brutally cheap, and hopefully I'll see you there with all the great content that I've been making lately.